weeks and just kind of clean up the great abundance of stuff that we have.
Manipulative. This is a horrible design. This is horrible design. This is fucking massive FOMO. I've already said it, and I don't want to repeat myself for too long. But again, whatever they're planning with the whole retired items, it's one of the most horrendous ideas I have ever heard. This should really go back. I like how they just always use Drummond Cars as a showcase when it's like one of the worst places weather-wise to show something.
Thus far. This one's gonna be so for the game launch Twitch drops. If you watch 4 hours of live Twitch content, you'll be able to obtain the reward, and it will be live for 28 days. I wanted 30, but you know Twitch won't allow it. It's only 28.
Gives you by weeks. Is that how it works? Okay,
so,
that makes sense.
But yeah. So that is a look into the current Twitch drop and the one that's coming up.
Yeah.
All right, 761.
Yeah, let's talk about what's coming.
Let's
so
go.
First up, it's .1. So what can you expect? Galactic Season 8. It's called Rising Powers. Why?
I'm trying not to elbow you.
You'll find out. If you have to almost hit me with something on every stream. So I guess this time it's just
What, fans, some sass.
elbow.
An elbow.
Yeah, so Galactic Season 8.
Did someone just say in chat, Q Warzones?
And then we're going to give you an update on where we are with our character modernization status, coming off of the changes that we made.
Most controversial thing that has happened lately in the Old Republic. And I'm here for it, honestly. I don't mind it.
But you're gonna be
I like the change, honestly. I'm not against it.
Yep.
So let's talk about what's coming.
No story. No, that wasn't going to be the case.
He doesn't actually dislike me. However.
Also, I need that shirt, by the way, from Fred. That is actually a very cool shirt.
Because it's just,
it's organic and beautiful.
It really is.
Fresco.
Did the Old Republic ever have official merch? Have I been missing out on that?
Fresco because it feels like we've gone somewhere fancy. And
I didn't know this. I need Fred's shirt. Yes.
Fresco.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one thinking this.
People are like, please stop.
What is that T-shirt?
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
so here's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna take you to. First off, do you know what an uprising is? Well, you do.
I mean, I do.
Yeah, but let's pretend for the audience that you don't know what an uprising is. So an uprising is effectively like a flashpoint. So you can play them solo or in a group, but they're shorter. You face a lot more enemies. They're much more snappier and quicker. And so what we want to do with them for Galactic Season 8 is we're going to kind of let you break them a little bit. So the gameplay theme here is we're going to introduce a new mechanic where I'll talk about it. I guess it's on the next slide, isn't it? I think is actually where we're going to get into the specifics. So yeah, effectively we're going to give you a new mechanic that lets you kind of just break the gameplay of Uprisings a little bit.
We love it when stuff breaks.
We do. We do. I guess we like it when stuff breaks in a way that is fun for you. Right? And so that's really what we're going to do. So the one change we're going to make, though, is before, Uprisings were typically only available to subscribers, and they were previously only available, I think, for level 70, 60, 70. It was high level. Really, that doesn't matter. Now they're going to be available to all players, so free to play, preferred subscribers. They're available starting at level 10. So anyone inside of the Galactic season will be able to play.
Oh, sweet. You can jump in fast.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's the idea. So let's talk about it. So I'm about to say two words that I'm very, I'm about to say two words that I really want to say.
I do want to mention it's a very good thing, actually, because Uprisings is... I feel like it's kind of dead because of the amount of rewards you get for it. It's not worth it compared to just doing Veteran or Master Flashpoint. But it being available for, like, everyone is a very good thing, and obviously at a low level too, because I feel like story-wise, it feels kind of disconnected from the main story, so I feel like it's kind of worth just doing it early, because it doesn't really play a role otherwise.
Zerka has every fifth enemy that you defeat is just gonna blow up.
Kind of reminds me of the mayhem mode from Borderlands that just adds
pretty nice, as you can see,
buffs to yourself, but also debuffs and also some funny stuff.
Drones, very cute,
or doing the Halo campaign with or a playlist with specific settings you want to add to make it difficult, so you get like a score multiplier, but in order to do that you have to do weird stuff and hard stuff.
It's going to put a kind of, as you're fighting, it's going to drop a point blank AoE at your feet that does just persistent damage to everything around you.
Not final. I hope not. That's just a typical lightning effect.
Like a playtest of the Galactic season last week, and this is the one that I had when I was playing through it, and I was just Oh my god.
This one is.
I'm just here
really
for the
cool. I
interesting
like
stuff.
the
I'll be
front.
honest. I'm
Yep.
not really too keen on titles and mounts and
Next up,
More dice. Dice.
more
I'm dying to talk
dice,
about this.
more ways of losing money because
You
they
know,
still
it's
don't
not-
have dice
right now, is Caitlin in chat
unlocked
crying
on
about the
collections.
money?
Because why would they? It's
She'll send me cookies.
it's where they get their bread and money, their bread and
we've got
butter.
Metallic blue and
I don't
matte
know the
gray
saying, I'm
dice
sorry.
coming, and matte
They get
gray
the
and
money.
Metallic blue dice.
That's right. And so these, you can see them here on the hidden chain armor set that you can earn through dynamic encounters.
Have they
My favorite
finally
thing about
fixed
this
the
is,
helmet of the
first
hidden chain armor
screenshot
set?
is,
Because it's still
ominously staring directly at your soul.
Yeah.
It's welcoming me.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
because they are.
the armor set is cool though. But man, come on.
Yep. Fair enough.
And moving along. More dies! Look, we've got matte gray and metallic light copper dies, and metallic light copper and matte gray dice. Say that 16 times really fast.
Yep. And this is on the electric.
16
armor set, which
times
you
the
can also earn
detail.
from dynamic encounters.
It's a really cool armor set. I like that helmet.
I
man.
love this one. Yeah, it's great. Yep. Oh boy. So excited to talk about this. So I think, and someone can correct me, but to my memory, we have never made available previously hairstyles in our game outside of the cartel market. So to my knowledge, the only way you've ever been able to get hairstyles previously is either we've given some away for free as we've introduced them, or you've been able to buy them in the cartel market. There are 2 hairstyles coming inside of
This one
Galactic
is
Season
really
that you will
good.
be able to
You know what?
just
This is the
earn
first thing I'm actually
on
excited
the
for.
track. So this is
That
one.
hairstyle
looks
Defender's
sick.
Consort. What's the name of the other one?
Coruscant and Droman Cos, they're going to fit right into your strongholds, wherever you want to put them. They don't have to be in those particular ones, but let me tell you, they're chef's kiss in the Coruscant. Look at that.
Yep. Yeah. And then the nice thing is that for those that don't know, the Dromacos and Coruscant strongholds are the easiest to acquire because they're the cheapest. You can buy them very cheaply with credits. You can get right in there. If you're lazy, totally not like me, this is definitely not what I do at all, for sure. But just as an example, you could just buy the utility bundles and then just, have a room, the first room you come in, and just put the utility bundles down, so it's just a very easy thing
Yeah,
to
but
do.
again,
If
I
you don't
feel
know what
like
a
this
utility
is
bundle
mostly a.
it's probably pretty obvious.
This is
by
maybe
icons,
the
but just
negative side of
so
me.
that
This
we
feels
can
more like a
explain it. If you don't
manipulative
know, it
tactic because
includes mailbox,
everyone will
all
have
3
Coruscant and
storages,
Drummond as
your
an
legacy
apartment
character
because
guild,
it's so
it has
easy to
GTN
attain.
both, ground and wall terminal,
So chances of
appearance
people getting
designer,
something
and
like
item
this
modification
is
station.
bigger
Correct.
than,
So
well,
it's
let's
all of the
say
things functionally
Rishi
you would want to
or
have inside of your stronghold. So you
hell,
can just
even I
put
think
that in
the
room,
train,
walk in and go, everything I need
the
is
bullet
right
train from one of the
Yeah,
flashpoints is
one-stop
also a
shopping,
stronghold,
aesthetic.
if I recall
Yeah.
correctly.
And the
Well,
nice
I
thing
could
is
be
now that
wrong.
they're themed to the
But
stronghold, it matches your
again,
aesthetic,
Exactly.
So the
Not
nice
many
thing is
people
now
get
we're
those,
going
or
to make
Yavin,
a
or
little better
Aldra. No one
to
really
work with.
pays that much attention to that.
Well, I said it
But
will-
all
it
the
will look
the
better.
beginners and new
great.
people, they will
Yeah,
most
great.
likely
Don't-
get this
don't-
apartment
don't
and then
come-
pay
don't
for
come to
it
my stronghold
because it
I
fits.
feel judged that
So,
you've never even seen it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know how
You
to.
know. Maybe it looks
Look how
good.
beautiful.
feel about
Okay,
this
invite me.
choice.
I'll come look.
I'm not going to. It doesn't look good.
Of course you won't.
Next up,
Oh yeah.
very
I mean,
excited.
I'm not gonna
still
use
to
it, but
inspire ourselves.
I like that
Explosive
fucking
versus-
headpiece.
I'm very excited
I
about
wonder
this
if people
Yeah,
can
very
actually
Love to see it.
combine the fashion with something else.
Love it. Probably need to take the helmet off before any space smooches, but otherwise.
I mean, listen, Jackie put the braid hawk on there, which is the Fred hawk. So I need this outfit too.
But this could be used as a rebel
love it.
pilot, covert pilot
And
type
more.
of set. Just change the helmet.
So one other important note that's related to the cartel market. So for any of you that have ever shopped on the cartel market or tried to shop on the cartel market, a lot of times things can be pretty overwhelming. So this is something that the team that manages that has been kind of taking a look at. Is like, as an example, you go, I want to buy a blaster pistol. And so you go to look at weapons, and there's just a lot of them. And so one of the things that we're looking at doing is putting things across the market into retirement. And so what does that mean? Effectively, what we're going to do is we're going to go category by category, and we're going to take a look at older items. You can think of like way back in the day, for those of you that have been around for a while or haven't, we have like some bronze items back when we kind of have a different structure to our cartel market, etc. That is kind of just, again, there's just so many things on our cartel market, it can be really hard to find things. So we really want to be able to focus where you
This
can
is a
find some
terrible.
newer
This is
stuff,
a
some,
terrible thing.
things like that. So here's what we're going to do. Starting today, I think it's probably already live, right, Jackie? Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think it's live right now. I think it went live when we started the stream, actually. We're starting with weapons.
You know what?
So
And
if you just go to the on sale tab, as an example, every weapon that is inside of the on sale tab is going to be retired after 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
What retired means is it's going to be coming off of the Cartel market. It doesn't mean it won't ever come back. Stay tuned for further communications about exactly what would happen past that point. But again, we're going to go kind of category by category every 2 weeks and just kind of clean up the great abundance of stuff that we have.
Manipulative. This is a horrible design. This is horrible design. This is fucking massive FOMO strategy that's being placed right now, because this basically incentivizes people to keep subscribing and keep playing purely for these reasons. I've already hated this whole bi-weekly thing from the PvP seasonal vendor, which happens with the, well, they have like a route A, B, C, D, and each week those things change. But sometimes there's stuff you want from route D and you just missed on it, or you didn't have enough tokens, and then you have to wait for another month. But by that time, and I'm speaking from experience because I'm actually right now facing it, I wanted to get the Furious Lightsaber. I was missing 2 tokens, which I was able to get the week after the route D. So now I have to wait until like the end of March. But no, whatever they're gonna do now with the Cartel thing is absolutely terrible, especially because they want you to check it as often as possible. And it's placing that image in your head, and the chances of you to buy something is greater than whatever was before this. So this already is something I'll be honest, I'm currently not playing anymore, taking a break. But again, these are reasons for me to take longer before I get back. This is just, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So the entire Master the Flight bundle as well is kind of annoying because it happens too often. So you get very often big 6-month bundle with a couple items, and that's fine and all, but it happens too often. So this is, no.
Does he need a hat? Does he need a hat?
I mean, maybe.
People crying about FOMO are hilarious. Nah, bro, let them cry, honestly. FOMO is a terrible, terrible market in any game. I know I don't really talk as much. Might seem like I'm pissed off. I'm not, though. It's just... I'm just reacting to a very long stream, and I'm not really used to this sort of... I don't want to call it content, because I'm doing fuck all, I'll be honest. But it's always nice to talk about this, also for the people that want opinion from, well, other players. I don't think my opinion matters as much. It's better not to listen to streamers and YouTube content creators. But, I mean, I've been playing this game now since release, actually. I don't have the box set anymore, sadly. I moved out so often, but I still play this game from time to time because it's I don't want to say it's like loss of money because I've spent so much in it, and I have, I'll be honest, but it's also just like my childhood, and I've been playing it since I was pretty much a tiny kid. I was 12 when I started playing it, and I'm almost 26, you know. You start to it starts to become a part of your life. But in general, though, so far, look, it's a 0.1 update. They're not that exciting compared to like a 0.5, or I guess this is a 0.1, 0.2. If it was a 7.7, that sort of thing update, it would have been more important, and you would have had way more stuff to talk about. Or if it went to 8.0, but that's I think still far off. Just in general, though, I do want to say that so far I'm a little bit more wary again because of the Cartel market changes they're doing. Because this is either going to force people into thinking they have to buy every single important thing now from 2 weeks on. This is probably also going to fuck up the GTN market because these items will now be accounted for as rare. And people won't be able to... It's not that important to listen to them right now until it's really something important. But in general, those items on the GTN will be so much more expensive because you can't buy it on the Cartel market because of the rarity nowadays, and you'll have to wait, and there's no ETA on when it will arrive, and that will just make everything a little bit more juggly, and some people might really want a weapon, and it's just not available. I feel like in these scenarios, when it comes to retired sets, retired weapons, if we're talking about card or market editions from fucking 10 years ago, these things should not be on the card or market anymore, and people should just be able to buy it with a buttload of credits in a separate vendor in order to actually get rid of some of, to spend some of your credits and to make sure that the whole economy is still sort of okay. I'm not saying many MMOs do it, because that I'd be fucking lying. Not many MMOs do it. I'm still thankful that some changes are kind of like nice. I really appreciate the uprisings, the addition for free-to-play is to also be able to enjoy them and to have it at a lower content. I also appreciate that the dynamic encounters are pretty unique and they're pretty nice to have, as they're talking about right now. But having cosmetics and that sort of thing be added or tied to the dynamic encounters, also a very good thing. But the monetization is horrendous, honestly. And I don't think people realize, I mean, some realized, I was able to read chat. A lot of people were able to realize how bad it really was, but it's bad. It is really bad.
So this is a screenshot that was captured
I feel like there should also be a screenshot of how it used to look without the modernization. Because right now I can't imagine how it used to look like.
Highlight for you where we are around things like wrinkles and skin tone texture. It's actually a whole bunch of changes. In fact, some changes you don't even know about yet that I'm going to talk about in a second. But it's the culmination of a bunch of changes we're making at one time. But we really want to
see any difference. I can clearly see a difference, but
changes. That's kind of what we're showing in the before and after. But so that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, Quinn came up quite often in a lot of feedback that we got. So I just wanted to kind of highlight like one character that was brought up on occasion.
Right. Yep. So there's a good before and after. Neckline seams.
Neckline seam is fixed somewhat. The horrible hairstyle, by the way.
Running around like topless around Runnick, but there we go.
Yep. You did for the screenshot.
Look at that mohawk.
He's got more wrinkles in the in progress one. Do I have to say that?
The improvement to the neckline seam. So let's talk about this is the what? Chiss. Oh yeah, sorry. The one thing that you'll notice we did not include there is Chiss. That's still in progress. So we'll have some more updates on that soon. Just know that that's still a priority for us, and we just don't have some more. We just don't have before and afters to show you right now, but just know that it's still a priority for us. So as I alluded to a couple seconds ago, there's some things that you saw in the before and after that we're also doing in addition to those other things. Because again, the focus of what the team is doing is a lot more, is not programmatic. And it's a lot more
give armor penetration to Hatred's assassins. Bro, these guys are with like very specific issues. It's amazing to read.
So we want to work on improving the lighting across the game so that it matches what's in cinematics. Because you may not realize this, some of you might. There's actually a different lighting between what's in cinematics and what's in the rest of the game. And we're trying to bring parity between those two things. Second thing is kind of very similar, is that we want to try to improve lighting in the preview window because just like the example I gave on the previous bullet, there's a lack of parity between what's in the preview window and what's in the rest of the game. So you might preview something and then equip it and then look at it in the game and go, well, that's not necessarily what it looked like in the preview window. And so we want to try to bring parity across the entire game so that when you see something, regardless of where you're seeing it, it generally looks as consistent as possible. That's not always going to be entirely true, but that's our goal, is to generally make things as consistent as possible across the game. And then of course, you can imagine there's a slight asterisk at this one, but I just wanted to reiterate that our goal is still, of course, to just continue moving across additional species as we can. So as we lock down these things that are our priorities to improve coming off of 7.6.
I don't have much to say, I'm sorry.
The next species that we haven't done yet. So like Twi'leks, purebloods, etc. That we just continue moving always through those. Yep. And a note as well is like Chiss, right? So as a reminder, in 7.6, as an example, Chiss.
Again, the in progress one has less shadow, less details. I feel like in order to fix the wrinkling, they just reverted back to before the modernization. I need the same picture before the modernization because I feel like we're just going backwards without making any progress towards anything. I could be wrong, but
are separate, and so we need to kind of do those as one.
Right now, I can't really see the difference between vanilla and this.
Like culminating everything that we just, or that you just talked about.
Now that you understand the scope of things that we said were our priorities coming off of 7.6 and the changes that you didn't know about that we're working on as well that are more programmatic. And we just wanted to kind of show you the before and after again so you can understand that we're also working on additional lighting changes and those types of things. Aimed around Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah,
like,
if you haven't seen that key art, you need to see that.
yeah, this is...
It is awesome.
Again, I feel like for something that is celebrating Star Wars, this is one of those things that should not be tied to subscribers.
That they're selling
The badge art?
This should be available to everyone. It's also a good way for people to join into playing the Old Republic.
We'll be putting those on.
But that's my opinion.
Ahead of time, so you know exactly what to expect.
Yeah, and you know, there might be a couple of us.
Whenever I play the game,
that
I'm
would
always
be
subscribed,
maybe
so
present,
it's not that I'm
maybe
trying to
giving out
talk in a
things,
way of
maybe
like,
some
I
other
also
people.
want this, because I
Yeah,
do
to
get
be
it,
clear,
because
we're
it's
not doing
subscriber
Cantina,
rewards.
So I can't see
But-
chat, but I can tell you we're not going to be doing one, but there will be people on the ground.
Granted,
so we might try to do some
the
stuff.
subscriber rewards are usually not that
Yeah,
that important.
love to meet
It's just
you
a
and
nice.
love to
It's
say hi.
usually either a
So,
pet or something.
More details coming.
Nothing
closer to the event.
too
Yep.
out there.
And but it's in April. It's not
But
even
again,
far.
FOMO.
Oh, I know. I'm not ready.
MMO's
I'm not ready.
greatest,
March is Monday.
greatest.
It'll be
Where is
wonderful.
this year going?
That's it.
March is Monday was my band. That's cool.
I do want to have like some final words because this has been mostly me listening and barely talking, and I do apologize, but this is all new information and it takes a while for me to process these things. All in all, I'm not the biggest fan of the update. There's actually some pretty good points, and I'm excited for those to actually happen. So I'm gonna probably do more of a recap of my own, and then that's pretty much the end of my video, at least. I do agree that, like, honestly, probably the most important thing of the update is that the Uprisings update is honestly one of the best additions, and I feel like they need to work more for dead content. They need to make it more rewarding. They need to make it more exciting, because right now I feel like Star Wars: The Old Republic has experimented with a ton of different style of content, but they've never really delved further into it. They just used it for a certain expansion, never to be touched again. Galactic Starfighter barely has any updates towards ships, maps, boosts, weapon types, the components, the crew members, you name it. The Uprisings never really got an update past the 5-6 Uprisings we have. There's probably more. I don't exactly know the current amount because I don't play it myself as much, but that's dead content. Star Fortresses is also pretty much dead content. Space missions are like the single player space missions are also kind of dead content. It's all things that have just been left behind, but I feel like these are things people can, the people from SWTOR can work on and improve on it to make the game more exciting. Because I know people will always talk about this game being dead and stuff like that. There's not much enough to do. I do have to say that even as you know, I've been playing this game for probably over 10,000 hours. I don't want to know the actual fucking number, but it's a massive amount. It's a massive amount of numbers. It's a very big number. There's at least like 4,000 hours or 2,000 hours or 3K on Steam, and then obviously before Steam, I don't even want to know, but it's probably triple that amount. So, or 4 times. It's a lot. Regardless, though, I do feel like even for the amount of hours I have played this game, there is still enough content for me to do that I've actually never even ventured into. If anything, I haven't ventured into everything the game had to offer. Like, I've never done nightmare operations, and some of the veteran operations I've also never really done. So, and even I think there's like 2 or 3 operations I've never really done myself. But or the Bessie thing, that sort of thing. There's a couple things I'm missing that I can still do regardless of the amount of hours I've actually spent playing the game. So there's always something to do, and I feel like this game really has is really more like a jack of all trades, master of none. They just have so many things, but they just don't excel into any of them. PvP is kind of like at a just stale point. There's only so many maps they've made, so many more game modes they've made. Flashpoints gets like 1 or 2 flashpoints every massive update, and that can take a year or 2. So you'll probably get like 1 to 2 flashpoints a year or 2 at best. And it's that is not enough content. So for the people that are focusing on a certain amount of content, it's not going to be enough. But I feel like forcing people, it's a bad word to use, to play other content is also a good idea, but they have to make that other content way more exciting. I feel like with the uprisings is a good idea because new players and stuff like that will be able to try out uprisings at an early stage. And that is it's just amazing. People have content from the get-go that they can play instead of just waiting until getting a level 70 character and being subscribed. And it's like, this just makes uprisings probably a little less deader. It also depends on the reward system and that sort of thing, and maybe even achievements, because the uprisings don't really have that many achievements tied to it. It's very easy to 100% the uprisings, but they need to really work on that. They need to also work on star fortresses. They need to work on the space missions. They need to work on Galactic Starfighter, and especially they need to work on PvP, because if I mainly play PvP when it comes to Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's probably why I miss most of the stuff that I haven't played before. I love PvP. I hate it at the same time, but I love it. This is the only thing I do. If you find videos of the Old Republic content on my channel, on my Twitch, whatever, it's always going to be just PvP. Nothing else. And, well, there's some story too, but it's mostly PvP. But there's no, this patch still, this patch has no addition of maps. Because if there's not going to be a new game mode, at least releasing a map makes it so that things are a little bit more excited. And no, not a different Hubball map, but Odessa Proving Grounds. It says in the name Odessa, but it never had another map. Hubball has 3 maps, but Hubball I feel like is one of the least favorite ones in terms for me. They added one map after so long, which was just for Arena, and Arena is like one of the most gatekeeping content, toxic areas that is very hard for people to get into, and you can't really do much with that map. People will only go to one section of that area and leave it. Whereas, for example, in Odessa Proving Grounds, you're kind of forced to explore the entirety of the map because not every node will be activated, that sort of thing, and it makes it more exciting. But yeah, there's just not any maps. There's not even like a deathmatch mode where there's like 8 against 8 and the first one to get like 150 or so kills wins the game, blah, blah, blah. Like simple game modes that should have been added to make at least that section more appealing. The Uprisings update, I do also want to mention, while it is nice, I feel like this is also the time where they need to be adding more. Remember what I said, Jack of all trades, master of none. They're going to add this, but they probably will never do anything else for uprisings. And that's the least thing they should be doing. They should at least be adding one uprising. If they have trouble getting updates to be as exciting in terms of content, because they only release one flashpoint with a 2-hour cutscene story, at least if you add one Warzone map or one Warzone game mode, even though that'd be a little bit too much, but just say one Warzone map, one flashpoint, one uprising, one Galactic Starfighter map, maybe, I don't know, but just some extra things that are not like that important, but they can be important for the people that are focused on that specific content, will make the update way more exciting. Because right now, I feel like, in my opinion, whatever they've said here, it's not that exciting for people to get into. There's not enough stuff for people to be feeling like they need to subscribe. The only thing that kind of forces people to play the game is the Cartel market update. I've already said it and I don't want to repeat myself for too long, but again, whatever they're planning with the whole retired items, it's one of the most horrendous ideas I have ever heard. This should really go back. I hope they change that idea and they get rid of it, because to me at least, and to new people, the Cartel market is not that confusing. In fact, I was able to get a friend to play this for the first time, and he'll probably even watch this video because that's why he's playing the game. And he wanted to buy a certain armor set because it looked really cool for his trooper. But while it was confusing for a few seconds, he was able to just simply deduce where to finally find that piece of armor set. So I feel like for someone that has no experience with MMOs, has no experience with the Old Republic game, decides to venture into the Cartel market. Took him less than a minute to figure out how it works. It's one of the the least likely things for people to experience whenever they open the Cartel market. It's just not, and I feel like this is just an excuse for them to go through this update. I don't think anyone can agree that the Cartel market is that confusing, especially when I feel like 90% of the players are veterans. There's not enough new people, and there will be new people, and that's fine. But the Cartel market is not convoluted enough for there being a mass amount of people to be confused and having to go to the forums or to the subreddit in order to ask how things work. Getting rid of the retired weapons is a stupid idea. It's a horrible idea. Should not go through this. Galactic Season 8 is a nice addition. I wish we got to see more of the items you could get from it, at least as just a little bit. The hairstyle is very nice. But I feel like I'm also going to say Galactic Season 8 is not new content. It's just content resurfacing because people are forced to play a certain amount of things in order to get those points, which I argue is not like the most horrible thing, but it's simply not new content. Right now, this update brings nothing new to the table in terms of experiencing something. I'm going to flat out say it. If you want to experience something new that you've never seen before in this update, and I'm not talking about new decorations, that sort of thing, I'm talking about gameplay mechanics, whatever, it is not in this update. So it's in general, it's not really that important. But you have to look at it as a big picture because people probably want to resubscribe, but there's people that have been playing this also to death. They see this and they probably will be thinking that it's just not enough to subscribe. The only thing that could make them subscribe is FOMO, which is the most horrible thing, the most horrible experience to get through in order for someone to subscribe. I'd argue that's one of the things you should not be doing for a game that is already... I don't want to say on this last leg because it's thriving well, and I want it to thrive. I want SWTOR to really become, again, a very fucking good game. But this is not it. I'm going to be honest. This is simply not it. I'm currently not playing. I stopped about a week or two ago because I needed a break, and the whole seasonal vendor from the PvP stuff was pissing me off that I just didn't feel like playing anymore. I really felt like I was actually missing out, even though it does get back in 4 weeks. I just couldn't be asked to subscribe for yet another month because I know I usually play MMOs for like 2 to 3 months before I'm getting tired, and I know I will miss the item, and I'm not going to play myself to death just to get an item because by that point I'm not excited to play the game anymore. So I stopped early, and I wanted to see what this update would bring to the table. But in my opinion, for me at least, it doesn't bring anything new, and I also feel like it's not really targeted for me because the Cartel market editions are not that exciting. Aside from that, the hairstyle is something pretty good, but they did mention that it's kind of available to everyone. The storefront update is terrible. The Basilisk reward is useless to me at least because I currently haven't gone to that point yet, and I feel like a lot of people probably also don't have not reached the Basilisk yet. The new achievements are not that important. I love achievements, by the way. I'm an achievement hunter. I'm going to say it outright, but not a lot of people love this. So this is like for the very tiny, minuscule amount of people that do enjoy it, like me. It's a great update, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter as much. The character modernization is still unclear. It doesn't bring anything new. I feel like they're just reverting it back, and they also specified that it might not be fully finished. So, because it's an update, so you get basically something that is not finished yet. There's no finished product in 7.6.1. The Star Celebration is nice. I hope they have fun. But again, this has nothing to do with the game at least. And the March release. So all in all, there's like 10-20% that are actually very decent stuff, and I'm actually I'm excited for people to try those things out. But the rest is just terrible. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say it. So yeah, but again, I don't want to fully talk anymore because I feel like I'm gonna repeat myself. The only thing I want to say yet again, and I feel like I need to repeat myself 100 times, the storefront update is the most ludicrous thing they could have been doing. They need to stop it. It's mute. mute, whatever you say, however you say it. It's a moot point. It should not be done. It's terrible. Terrible. Don't do it. Revert. Retreat. Fuck. Go back. Because this is... I mean, it's great for you guys. You're probably getting a fuck ton of money from people that are probably going to purchase things before the update goes through. But aside from that, the Cartel market is just going to make it horrible for the Galactic Trade Network. Because again, like I mentioned, some old weapons are going to be rare. And old weapons plus, or I guess old and rare equals massive amounts of fucking credits. So don't do this. All right? I get it. This is great for the people that got like a shitty silver, or sorry, a bronze sniper that sells on the GTM for 4,000 credits, and now it will be turned into probably 20 million or 200 million because the sniper will probably not see the light of day for like 2 years. But this is horrible because aside from everything I've already mentioned, imagine you wanting like a very old weapon. Think about, I don't think they'll remove this one, but maybe the SWTOR Chance sparring lightsaber gets rid from the Cartel market, becomes beyond expensive on the GTN. People that want it cannot buy it because they just don't have the credits. Now, also, it won't be available on the Cartel market for a very long time, and you will have to keep yourself updated weekly, monthly, update-wise, to know when that lightsaber comes back. And it forces you to keep looking, to keep waiting, to keep subscribing, to keep checking the game, to have your mind on the game at constant times because you want this specific item. It's unhealthy. Don't do it. I know how we humans are, but try to force yourself to not go through this path. It's the dark side. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here. I've said my piece. Do with what you do with this what you will. I'd love to have a conversation, a healthy conversation about this update, even though I've had a very negative view towards most of the things. I also would love to talk about the positive stuff, about the things I've mentioned outside, like things that should have been added and things they should be working on. And that's it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me watching this live stream. I'll probably skip some bits because I wasn't interested in a lot of things. So I was just very quiet and waiting for something exciting to happen. So yeah, but I'll put a link down to the live stream in the description if people want to see the stream itself. Yeah. Thank you all. Take care. Peace.